What's up? Wild got cut. I don't know why. Wi-Fi been tripping. It just really just blacked out. And what do you call it? The app crashed. But and then it said it was 110 minutes. I mean, an hour and 10 minutes, but now it's only showing 44. I'm just gonna go over the last little part that I was talking about. I ended off with BOB and just saying how pretty much just finding the middle ground of where you really want to work and understanding how many hours you truly want to put in and versus saying you work 12 8 hours 10 hours a day 6 7 days a week, maybe 5 days a week, depending on different jobs. Some the warehouse jobs be crazy, but can't really spend your money that you earn. And it's like, why not? You be so tired, and then you go back to versus if you take off a couple of days, you don't make nearly as much money, but you have more fun. So finding that type of middle ground, understanding you don't always have to work overtime, you don't always have to work extra. I should look up the dude name that says it, but I forgot the dude name. But like I said, he always on Facebook and YouTube. It's a white dude that's a motivational speaker. He talk about um, different type of stuff, but pretty much economic stuff and mentality and how you should go about life or whatever, or this reality or society. I mean, but I wanted to get into other musicians and artists, and I even wanted to get back into sports, but I forgot what sport that I want to talk about. But just to finish the last video I was talking about, I brought up Six Black and how he talked about not wanting to sound like one song or sound like the same old song. He didn't want to just stick to being pop or just that dark artist, and that's ended up the reason why he ended up cutting his hair. Even like look at artists like The Weeknd, he wanted to switch up and go to pop versus Black didn't want to be pop in a sense. But in that same aspect, no matter what you want to do, is like uh, whatever foundation you want to rely on is what's going to help you get through the shit. So Black knew that those foundations wouldn't really make him comfortable. Yeah, it would have made him way more money, and that's what we talk about, finding that middle ground. Yeah, making them songs would have made him more money because it's more relatable, people resonate with it, or it's easy to sell, it's more marketable, whatever. Because we talked about um, mixing your talent with mixing your foundation that you rely on. A lot of people are talented and good musicians, but they're mixing it with materialism or shit that really don't do anything for humanity in a sense, or in a sense that they talking from their lower natures, and they're mixing their art with lower natures, and that's what's being produced, and that's what people gravitate to. People listen to that, and now they think that's cool, and they keep going, and the cycle continues type shit. Don't know who started the cycle. I ain't gonna say who started the cycle. That's pointless. But we can see how the cycle continues by if we keep listening to these different things and understanding that materialism is our lower nature. So if we keep supporting them, they keep making the music. They keep making the music. We keep supporting them. It doesn't matter. One of us has to break the cycle. Just like when you look at any other cycle that we talk about that needs to be broken, like it needs to start somewhere. So who's going to be the bigger person? Um, what other artists I want to talk about? I think I dove into Nicki in the last one. I don't know if that was I hope it didn't cut it out, but I'm hoping that that minute, that hour and 10 minutes come on there and it's still processing. But we'll see. Um, Pretty much. What else I wanted to get into? I'll go get into comedians. I'm just getting into different artists, man, and what really make an artist in a sense is that we talk about their foundation mixed with their talent. With comedians, this is big because we talk about Katt Williams, we talk about the Tiffany Haddish, we talking about Kevin Hart's The Little Red. We just talked about this. Like it's up in the air still. Like everybody's still kind of talking about it. It's still lingering. And the biggest thing what Katt Williams was talking about is the foundation these people use. Like yes, they're talented, or yes, they may be funny, but what foundation is they using? Tiffany Haddish uses ratchetness. Kevin Hart uses the this laugh at me tactic, and it's cool to a certain extent, but I definitely get it. And for me, people say I'm a hater in the sense of I don't like certain music. I'm like an old school person. Like I don't be fucking with certain shit. But in that same aspect, I be being tolerable to a lot of shit. Like I understand Kevin Hart is not the best comedian he could be. If he used certain content, he'll be 10 times better. Same with Drake. He used different content. He might be 10 times better. But the content he is making, he's great at that. So I'm fine with it. I'm not gonna ask him to be everything. And who was talking about that? Lupe Fiasco, I believe. He was talking about no. Kid Cudi was talking about finding an artist, and when you look at these artists, it's like, oh, it's one thing you like one, or I like that aspect, but I don't like this. So you got to pick certain parts of them that you do like, and that's how I look at most people that I fuck with when it looks at anything in this shit. Like from most spiritual people, I ain't gonna say all of them, but a lot of spiritual people, I fuck with certain aspects of them. I don't fuck with the holistic aspect of them. Drake, I talk about Westbrook. I know he got his flaws. I see flaws. I look at the holistic picture. So yeah, for the most part, I have to pull and not like certain shit of people. And we don't get those whole artists that's talented, content savvy, marketable, and all these different things. And of course, you can go into a bunch of different reasons why, but you do get those people that end up being like that. Like Katt Williams ended up being kind of all of those things. And of course, people talk about him having a pimp suit and shit like that, but then go to him being marketable, but then having the content to match, and then having, what else I had said, whatever. He just has that full catalog where he can work and be different versus a Kevin Hart, where he, self-deprecating laughter, where I talk about there's many people where what's her name, McCaffrey or something. It's a white fat lady, but she's in all the movies. She was in Identity Theft. She's in a bunch of movies, but it's pretty much, she's funny, but the reason she's funny is because she's big. Same with kind of that one lady that steals jokes. She's not funny either. She's basically a sex joke. She was a white girl. She was funny for a little minute. It gave her a little hot second, but that shit faded fast. I don't know what her name is. I forgot her name. But just to get into comedy, just more, it's like, you see how a lot of comics have that sex foundation where they only talk about sex, because sex is a laughter. It's a good joke, but it's a gimmicky laugh. Like, it's a gimmick. It's like some shit that hits your lower nature, like some shit you laugh about when you was a kid. And if you can wrap it up in a good joke, you can bring that kid out of me again. So now I'm laughing back at sex jokes. And of course, laughter I talk about as being a hell of a drug. It can make you laugh about anything and make you accept a lot of different shit. Like, period. Like, a homosexual dude can make you laugh about homosexuality. It don't mean that you accept it, but you definitely can laugh at the shit. I've seen dudes that's homosexual. I just watched a dude on Facebook. Good dude, he was funny, had his jokes or whatever. And it's like, you can't be mad because he's gay, but as long as he's funny, shit, it make you accept the understanding of him being funny. But it goes to a certain understanding and a certain just is what it is. Like, laughter's a hell of a drug. If it can make you laugh at shit, it can almost make you accept that shit. And for the most part, the more you see that, the more you relate to it, the more you make it more comfortable with your mind. So that's just habit. That's just how we learn. That's just how we pick up things. Period. We all know that. But the self-deprecating laughter, we look at Kev talking about. Dude just broke this down. I wish I knew his name. It's in my playlist at the bottom. I sucked at that, but maybe I'll leave the link in the descriptions. But pretty much his last movie, black dude getting a GED, finding laughter in that. Like it's funny, but it's also like we laughed at him and Will Ferrell when he had to act like a thug. It's funny because we know white people look at us like that, but then it's like, no, it's not. Because white people really look at us like that. Same shit from with the drugs and shit. It's like, yeah, we can laugh at your dad for being a drug addict, but then he's a drug addict, or he was, or whatever. Of course, we can laugh at the beauty of him getting out of it, but in that same aspect, you necessarily didn't harp on it. You harp more on him just being a drug addict at the time or whatever, how it affected you. And yeah, how it made you come out, but it don't necessarily big up your dad or whatever. But in that same aspect, of course, it's nitpicking, but it's just saying what foundations you rely on. His foundation is self-deprecating. Him being short, that's something he can fall into. But he could have been like a person like Six Black and be like, nah, I'm not gonna get into only talking about how I'm short and only talking about how I'm this and only talking about how I'm that. Katt Williams understood that for the most part, he had his small jokes and shit like that, if I'm not mistaken. But then he had his other thought-provoking content. I don't think Kevin Hart has many thought-provoking content, or much thought-provoking content. And we look at most comedians that's new, that like we even from the Lil Rels, and I wouldn't say Jamar Carmichael because I think he has some pretty societal norms that he might talk about, and just show how they're weird and we accept them, and he makes us laugh at those. So I give him his credit, but it is ones out there that still relies on sex jokes. And D-Friend talked about it. He was like, um, "You don't think Lil Nell is kind of the same as Tiffany Haddish?" And I was like, "Yeah, I agree." But Lil Nell was when Lil Nell came out. Now it's 2018. We still doing that same shit. Like I laughed at Lil Nell kind of when I was at her age. I mean, when I was around that age, whenever she came out. I don't know what age I was, but it wasn't hilarious to me. And plus, I think I watched that around my parents. So it's like, yeah, I'm not really laughing at Lil Nell jokes. So it's like, yeah, she was cool, but she's not hilarious. But we understood where she was. We understood her, just her energy. But to keep saying it, to keep saying it, to keep saying it, it's like why they keep pushing it. And the fact that Tiffany Haddish now is, the top of the scene, it's like, oh, she the funniest, she that, she this. But it's like, well, there's other women that was doing that and more type shit. But I don't really need to get more into Tiffany Haddish. But you see how it's foundations, bro. Like the shit that you rely on. That's what makes you great. That's what can make you greater. That's what makes artists well-rounded. If they truly want to be thought-provoking, have content, be marketable, and that's it's not easy to do, because that requires integrity, and Hollywood don't like integrity. The media don't like integrity for the most part, at least from what I've seen. But yeah, I don't want to get into nobody's favorites. I already talked about Nicki. I could talk about Beyonce, but who cares about her? It's just sports. Go back to sports. Well, our favorite athletes, they have a lot of history. When we talk about their stories, when you look at their stories and the shit they went through, they came through a lot of shit, and you see how that's like, oh, that's why that nigga cold. That's why he's strong. That's why he run that hard. That's why he jumping over everybody. That's why he blocking like he don't like niggas, like he don't like white people, or he don't like you like that nigga block like he racist. I used to say that. That nigga block like he racist. Like he out there a nigga hater, because white boys be on linemen, but it just be a joke. It's just a joke for me. I mean, I'm good with race jokes, but that's how I used to look at it. Like, bro, if you some shit you be having anger, like that's what makes you great. And it be from like your dad used to punish you and make you do shit, and now it's like when you get on that field, you about to punish that person because you can't go with your dad or even your mom like that, or even your girlfriend. Like maybe you had a kid at an early age, so that's what making you go hard as fuck. Like same for anything, like whatever you good at. But a lot of times we look at our sports people, they be having a lot of triumphs that rose through concrete story, and they be real underdogs. That's why I talk about the Olympics. We talk about the Hunger Games, being more like the Hunger Games. And I talk about how other sports is pretty much the same as that same idea. It's like you pulling people out of the dirt, out of these the crevices of society, the dirt, the scums of society, and now that you're giving them light to shine, and that's where you get trapped or whatever and shit like that too. Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Hunger Games, where they come from these districts, they come from these hoods, and they show out. They really sacrifice their body, sacrifice their shit, their own life for. A lot of times, their family members or shit are better reality than what they've been in. They'll sacrifice their own body to be in a better world, like, or a better space, even if it's just to be mentally happy. They'll risk their body, like fuck it. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get in that mansion. Even if I can't walk in that bitch, I'm gonna be able to ride my scooter through that motherfucker. So some people do that shit. But yeah, I mean, that's their passion. That's what makes them that chip on their shoulder. But even then, like, we see how influential sports players can be, and that's why they be like, shut up and dribble, or just shut up and play sports. Because we think too. And we become these dudes that rise up from the scums, and we get that perspective of the scums, then reality. Like if you look at LeBron, I'm not gonna say this is exactly how he looks at life, but just to give a perspective from his shoes or whatever. Like he came from the scums. People might have cared for him, people might have looked at him, but they looked at him in the sense that they wanted to use him, but they knew he was gonna be something. So even if people said they cared, they only cared to a certain extent. and that's to how much he was gonna affect their pockets type shit. Um, then to go on to, they can truly see that he's about to be that great shit. And just the shit of how he wasn't really struggling anymore, but he probably still had to live in the hood. He still probably had the Hummer and shit like that. So he had to get on fabulous lifestyle. And then, he had used to wear the big earrings, the big clothes, and all that shit. So he went through that phase. Then he went to almost that liberal, just more nice dressing suit and tie almost dude, where corporate, he was that marketability, like all that different shit. And LeBron, he was always named the king, but he jumped up to certain levels at a certain point in his career. Like for marketability, he went to that next level type shit. And, then now he's almost on some shit like he went to the next level. I want to own teams. I want to own other shit. I want to make agencies and all that shit. So now he's the owner shit. So he rose up so many levels and shit. I don't even know why I started talking about that. But I mean, having the foundation, shut up the dribble and all that shit. So it's like through all them different perspectives, and he came through all that shit. Now, if he was just to shut up and dribble, that'd be such a waste because if he not doing it just to make money in a sense, because a lot of niggas just be talking just to make money with the liberal agenda and shit like that. You can say Nike, you can claim Colin Kaepernick, you can say a lot of niggas that like that. I'm not gonna get into that debate. I really don't care. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, if he wanted to speak, he had the perspective to see how many different people, how many people act. Like he just know he'll be able to see. He had a lot of experience to draw from in a sense. Now he used all those experiences from being corporate, hood scum, hood rich, all those different things. You add all those different characteristics and ideas and experiences and lessons learned, put them together, bro. He can create a lot of different shit. He could be, if that school is truly out here for good, like that school could be truly great in the sense of teaching, just the minors and shit like that. Like I said, that's maybe not his perspective, but just the shoes that he could use. In a sense. I mean, those are his shoes, the space he in type shit. That don't mean he using it for that energy or whatever. It's spectrums, levels, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There's many possibilities. Nigga could be doing good, nigga could be mischievous, you never know type shit. And I ain't gonna say he one way or another, just know, I know it's possibilities out here. But, plus I don't know him, and it really don't affect me, so I don't care. But yeah, athletes, I always talk about it. Kobe had that killer mentality, the shit he grew up with. I think he grew up in a military home, but who knows? Who knows why some of these niggas grew up as hard as they did, but a lot of shit that these passionate chips on the shoulder comes from the foundations that they rely on. The foundations they came from type shit. But, really was into the comedy. Trying to think who I want to talk about. Jamie Foxx popped up on my head because he's a good comedian, but he don't have real content. Like he was one of them just an energy guys. Talked about society shit. Talked about shit that everybody could, shit that you've heard before, but just in a different way. He what do you call it, spruced it up or some shit like that. But it wasn't no shit that's a thought that's far out or a thought that's just not a societal norm or something that's just not something. I wish I could give you an example of his jokes, but if y'all watch his stand up shit, I know what I'm talking about. He talk about sex. He talk about the just same old, same old shit. Do a couple impersonations and shit like that. You get those comedians too. All they can do is impersonate other people. It's like that. That's a good foundation. You good at mimicking, but what are you good at creating? And of course, we see that period. I had wanted to talk about that a while ago. I think I did, but not to the depth that I want to. But like, people literally like right now in society is like just using energy to mock other people energy, like. And that's how they making money. Like it's crazy. We can look at it from it. Oh fuck, it goes so deep. I don't know where I want to start. From women and men, like we see men playing. Oh, women act like this. They do this. They do that. And it's all for jokes and laughter. Putting on wigs and all that shit, twerking all that shit. Women act like this. Do all type of shit. And it's for laughter. Same with like you literally mock we mock events that happen, like say something crazy happened or a dance happened, like who can do it better or who can do it like this. It's like it's crazy. The follow, like we follow a lot, like it's follow the leader type shit, and then whoever can do that the best type shit. And it's weird because that's what's really just going, like that's the only thing that's going on right now. Like even to the, I say this, even to the most part, like a lot of people be talking about the same shit, but who can say it the best? Like I don't care if it's from podcasts to YouTube channels to anything, like radio shows, like bro, music, materialism. Like a lot of these rappers say the same shit. You talking about the same shit, saying the same type of bars, but they flip it a little different. Who can talk about materialism the best? Who can make it resonate with you the best? Who can make it be indiscreet? Or I think that's the word. I think it's usable. And I mean, shit. For the most part, most conscious people, same shit, but who can say it to the point that it resonates the best? So yeah, I mean, the mocking energy is very weird. And I mean, for the most part, it could be useful. It could be, it could be a tool we use that can help us. Cause I mean, I guess it's like the monkey effect when they talk about watching the monkey wash the dirt off the what's the name, whatever you call that shit. Maybe that's what it is. So it's a way to learn. Or when the squid is in the chamber and watch another squid do it, now they know how to get out. If y'all ever seen that, so maybe that makes sense. And that's a tool we can use for them, but understand how that tool also is, keeping us trapped. Just like any other tool. All tools can be helpful, but they also can be a crutch. Period. And for the most part, I think it might be, like when we look at artists, because I'm thinking like, why does repetitive shit sell? Why does repetitive shit easy? Of course, it's because it sticks home the easiest. So it's like, is that the artist's fault that most of the masses are only able to listen to repetitive shit and not, something that's off the repetitive path type shit? And it is, because the reason I thought of this is because when I many things I thought about doing, including stand up. I'm dive into all of it at one point in my life, but probably already did type shit. But it's like when you look at comedians, they have to read the crowd and they have to do crowd work, and crowd work is pretty much getting the crowd alive. And you'll see this with any comedian. They'll bring up the city, because everybody in the city gonna resonate with the city. Even if you're just visiting, you're gonna resonate with the city because you're in the city. So they always gonna be like, oh, this city's great, or something about this city, hood, ratchet, something that just, resonates with everybody and they can cheer for it. Same with artists. When Kendrick comes to your city, you're the greatest city ever, Houston. So as you go to Florida, you're the greatest city ever, Miami. Like, that's how they do. They play with the crowd. They make the crowd their bitch. I'm just playing, but I'm not. And in that same aspect, is they have to do that because they just can't go into their jokes because it's just, I don't know. Maybe this is how humans work, and that's how we have to interact with people. Maybe that's a part of magic. Maybe that's a part of, odds. It might be different. You wouldn't have to do no gimmicky shit to get with us. It's like, what you got to say, nigga? All right, thank you. Bye. Hurry up. We ain't got time. Like, type it. And I think that might be the difference. So this human shit, lower nature shit, we learn from repetitive. That's our easiest shit to learn from or whatever. So, I mean, I think that's what we gravitate to the easiest. Like, it's just part of our science, maybe our makeup. Because you gotta do crowd work, and then once you do crowd work, the next part of crowd work after the city and shit, they make a joke about somebody in the look at this nigga with that on, look at this nigga with that on. So now everybody else can now point, laugh at something that they all can look at literally in front of them. It's not even something you got to make them imagine, because you talk about it, something that everybody can see, that it's not something that hard to make a visual. So now that everybody's laughing, you go on to your joke, or might do some more crowd work till you really feel like everybody laughing. Now you go on to your joke, and it's easier for people to resonate with you. I talk about laughter being a drug. Now, even if they don't get the joke, they're in that laughter vibe. So even if one person get the joke, or two people get the joke, they laugh their hardest because they're already laughing. Now it's forcing other people to laugh in the room, and that's just how shit work. It's like the Jones effect. One person don't want to buy your shit in the room. You try to sell something to a group of people, nobody gonna buy your shit. As soon as one person buy it, all the people that didn't have money to buy it magically got money. Hey, you can let me borrow this, let me borrow that, I'll pay you back. I know bullshit. I see that shit happen all the time. I used to do that. It wasn't door to door, but I used to go business to business selling shit. Like that's literally what it is, and it's like that same shit. People want to resonate, and if it's like people don't want to be that standout either. You're the standout for a reason. You've been chose to stand out. That's why you're on stage. But for the most part, the one that want to stand out, like say you got some thought provoking content, the first person to laugh is literally like, oh, he's laughing. Oh, now I can laugh. Like say if a black person laugh at a racist joke about them, white people look at them. Oh, now I can laugh. Like that's what the shit is. Like I'm not laughing unless at least somebody in here laughing, and it goes to the levels of wherever the joke is at. But yeah, I mean it's the science behind it, and I think that just might be our makeup for humanity. But when you tapping into that God box, it's a little different, and when you how you resonate with shit. Some people you can listen to and never laugh, but you like, hey, I understood it. I feel that. Like George Carlin, people might not ever laugh at this shit. Like, they might not die like like the gut crunchers, but the nigga is spoke some real shit. You can resonate and watch his whole shit, and it's like, damn, it's just as good if I would have laughed the whole time. So, yeah, I mean, it's different levels to it, whatever. But foundations and how you use your foundations, bro. Like the shit that you have, like for the most part, is what's gonna be what's gonna help you create. And I already talked about, for me, having that knowledge to find out everything about the world, like the fact that I'm breaking sciences down, like about understanding crowd work and all that shit. Like even from the beginning, like, I remember going to the Kendrick concert. I was like, we ain't the best crowd. He just saying that, like, and from there, for me not just being gullible and believing that, now I look up and start seeing why do I believe that. Start finding, like, slowly, either like a question pops up or something just resonates where I'm like, oh, that's why. I get it now. And for most people, like, they know, like, I ain't seen people that go to more than one tour. Like they might go to one in Dallas and they go to one in Houston. They say the same shit. Dallas, you're the best city. Houston, you're the best city. Y'all know that shit. It's the same shit. But yeah, for me being able to break down sciences and shit, so whenever I make a book, it's gonna have that deep science shit, because that's always what I've been about, in the sense of trying to find and understand. Like I ain't never been on no gullible shit. I ain't gonna have no gullible music. I mean, I might have some gullible. I'm pretty sure I've been gullible a couple times, but in the sense of, if I have been, you'll see where it's at, and it's been towards women, and that'll be, that you'll get that art. Trust me, y'all gonna get that heat one of these days. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I haven't been gullible with government. Maybe with the Obama phase, and you'll get that heat too. Like but those are the foundations I had to get burnt by or understand before I could start being able to be comfortable in creating with those things. But when I say that, that's when you need to understand where you can look in your life and be like, all right, well, all that pain, I see how I can transmute that shit. I see how I'd be a good ass artist because people be like, bro, my life is a movie. If I told somebody my life is how it need to be a movie, at least in a book or something, or something, and then they make a YouTube channel. Process, man, it's baby steps. But I see people all the time think their life is just so crazy and so wonderful, amazing, just whatever, and they think they have to share it. And for the most part, you're right. Share that shit. And start building the foundations of sharing it and being comfortable to share it. Because think about it. The shit that's really inside of you, a lot of shit you don't want out. For the most part. Not me. Because I got comfortable and letting out. I talk my shit 24/7. I don't give a fuck. Because I'm comfortable with myself. But a lot of us, we be wanting to show our whole, like, we want to express our story. Like, our story crazy. But you got so many secrets that you're not even comfortable with yourself. So if you told your whole story, you'd be like, oh, scratch that out, X that out, pause that out, edit that out, cut that out, clip that out. It's like, nah, that all made the ending story. The ending story not as good if you clip all that other shit out. And that's the same shit for, our movies and our stories. Like, all that shit, she got my eye. It's help you get to where you at now. So whenever you want to start creating, pull from all of that shit. At least the most valuable shit. I talk about valuable shit. But, yeah, man. All your good movies about heartbreaks, The Notebook. Oh, you've had a notebook relationship. We all have. Just gloss it up a little bit. That's all they do. Whenever you look at the story, they be like, yeah, that's how the movie. It was kind of like it, but it was a little glossed up. Like Friday Night Lights. Them niggas didn't make the fucking state. They lost in the semifinals. So hey, gloss up your movie, make millions. It's just a form of art, exaggeration, understanding, imagination. Like, if it looks real, if you can resonate with it, it's real. It don't mean it has to be completely true, but it's based off. Based off. Just when you really understand, based off don't mean it's fully from, or the full exact replica type shit. Oh, wow. I wanted to say some shit, but I don't know how to get it off right. But it still does with, like, I talked about this too. What roles they do or whatever is based off their foundations, their old emotions or the emotions they have currently. Like they're based off some shit that you resonate with. If you can play a role or whatever in a movie, show, whatever, it's because it resonates with you somewhere. It's based off some shit that you fuck with. So now you can tap into that shit. It's not really you, but it's based off some shit that resonates. That shit funny, because I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, that's why, like, I mean, I already said, when we see movies, we be like, man, that's like, I see myself in that character. Yeah, you ain't never did none of that shit in your life. But they was an underdog, you're an underdog, and it resonates with you. So it's based off some feelings that you got inside of you, and you can see how that story can resonate with you. But yeah, it just shows you the spectrum that you can use in using that energy too. Like when you want to look at energy sources and energy spectrums and how powerful they are, understand and look at where they have their most strengths and their most weaknesses. When we look at the egotistical character, what ended up happening to them at most of the end of the movies, they fall short somewhere because they was just over egotistical. They just was too big headed or whatever. Or they end up having to take their lump so much until the end of the movie, they be like, oh, I get it now. You don't be wanting to be that character, do you? You be like, damn, that nigga's stupid. We be being that character more times than none, though. We be being that dumbass character, egotistical character, know-it-all ass niggas. And know-it-all always gets shown by the universe or somebody the truth until they realize it. Same with the underdog energy. What we see with them, they usually succeed or get what they want. It might not be easy at first, so we might not want to resonate with that shit, but we get it. And then that path at the end, we see how it be so fucking amazing, but we don't be still want to go through that shit because that underdog shit be hard. Shit not easy, bro, because everybody doubts you. Nobody believes in you. Nobody fucks with you. And even when you start making it, they still kind of doubt you till you really show you can do it for a long amount of time. So it's like, man, nobody really be wanting to fuck with the underdog energy, but when you win, the win be so great because it be like, damn, nigga, everybody doubted me. I doubted me. And I still overcame that shit. Nigga, if you doubted yourself and you overcame that shit, you know how powerful that is, nigga? Like, I remember that shit. I remember when I doubted you. But, yeah, underdog energy, princess energy. You look at the princess energy, y'all gotta be saved by somebody. Do you want to be saved? Ain't you that independent chick? So no, you don't really resonate with her. What's some other energies? It's always that government figure or that suit figure. We never resonate with them. They always resonate with our bosses or some shit. We be like, man, that nigga act just like my supervisor. we see how that energy get them. They always is just an example of what we don't want to be. So you never really resonate with them. They just be examples of niggas you want to show up. The ones that doubted you, the niggas that hated on you, be them the suit niggas. The ones that tell you, what was the movie I just watched? It was a dude with the Wolverine. It was about it was a ski jumping movie. It's on Netflix, I think. But he told him he'll never be shit type shit. And I'm sure when I was watching it, I was telling Carrie, I was like, I feel like the dude that told him he wasn't gonna be shit, somebody used to tell him that when he was trying to practice ski jumping, and that's why he just like a nominee member or whatever, where you can vote people in or whatever, some shit like that, or head of the nominee, some shit like that. And that's usually how it ended up being. Like a coach was told they wasn't shit, so now they coaching, but they still be haters towards the players low key, cause they never was a player. We get that energy too, but be the niggas we walk over and never really fuck with. We don't resonate with that role either. I'm trying to think of other roles. The villain role, some people resonate with that shit. Some people like what a villain gets, especially when the villain wins in movies. You be like, I really could have fucked with that one. I really fuck with that one. But with superheroes, we always protagonists. Everybody always gonna resonate with the hero of the story. But sometimes it's the sidekick. Resonate with the sidekick energy. How far what the sidekick energy gets you? It gets you places, especially if you're a good sidekick. Especially if you know how to be a real nigga on the side. Like, I'm not talking about like relationships and no shit, but just being a friend that's always there for somebody, or a business partner that's always there for your partners. Period. Where you always doing what you gotta do. Just being a good foundational piece. I mean, you might be the side of one business, but that don't mean you the side, or you might have your own business, and you might need good sidekicks and shit like that. So, sidekick role not always bad. Sometimes it is bad, especially if you work it. So, like I said, look at the spectrums. Sidekick not always good. It's not always bad. Sometimes you might get a bad business partner that don't care about the sidekick, that always think it's about them. We see movies like that. We see shows like that. They feel like they role more important. They don't understand. We get most jobs like that. Just because you start the business, you don't value the day-to-day worker, the labor workers. But it's like, if you don't have no good labor workers, shit, your business is gonna lose profit in a heartbeat. Chick-fil-A ain't shit without its labor workers. And they make good products. Yeah, they make this. But if employees was like Walmart employees, it'd be a whole nother different fast food chain. So just understanding sometimes the sidekick can be good, sometimes the sidekick can be bad, just depending on what type of business partner you have. And I mean, that's very important. And like I said, just look at different spectrums. Like look at the complete spectrum of these movies. And these are energy fields, spaces, and the spaces that you can exist in and paths that you can go down. I talk about the jock. We look at the jock. You could either be if we look at the totality of what the jock end up becoming, they usually be those over egotistical dudes that end up having to work for somebody else because they took too long to get their shit together. So maybe they get their shit together later on in life after they meet some people that was, they used to fuck with them and shit like that. They be like, oh, I used to, you see this in movies all the time. Like, bro, you used to be my favorite man. So I can give you a job or something, man. I mean, I did used to love you and all shit like that. You get movies like that when they go back to like school or whatever, and meet their old colleges and shit like that, and like, oh damn, you're not that cold running back no more and shit like that. I think there's those. I seen that like on a TV show or something, but you can also be the jock could be a dude bagging groceries. It gets bad for that jock energy. We talked about the nerd energy before. They almost the reverse energy of a jock. I mean, movies just show energies and spaces. We talked about archetypes of character types, some shit like that, character types. And those are pretty much just spaces that you exist in, and spectrums of reality that you can create for yourself. Which ones would be more beneficial to you? And for the most part, this is alchemy, this is magic. You can mix the superhero with the sidekick, with the villain, with the you don't really need the egotistical dude, but you can pull the valuable pieces out of the egotistical dude. This is I love when we get to cooking, man. Shit. Think about cooking, man. We know salt is a hell of a fucking strong fucking herb. So you might need 1 cup of oregano and 1 pinch of salt. So that 1 pinch of salt came from the egotistical dude. That shit's strong, nigga. I don't need all of it, just a pinch, goddamn. Versus you got the nerd or maybe the humble dude. It takes a lot to be humble, so you might need 1 cup of oregano. Throw that in there. Put a little sugar in there. You need about a 1/2 cup of sugar, maybe 2 teaspoons of sugar, whatever sugar can be. I don't know what sugar it is, but maybe sugar's the sidekick. Oh, you got some spices, sugar can always throw the spices off. Sugar just sugar always adds just that right touch to it. Maybe it might not be 2 teaspoons. You need at least a tablespoon of sugar in almost everything you cook. God damn it. So, sugar can be the sidekick. All this shit, man, make whatever you're trying to make. I don't know what you're trying to make at the moment. You might want to make some bread. You might want to make some lasagna. Who knows what the fuck you're making? I don't know. It's not me. I'm not cooking right. I'm cooking my own shit up. But for the most part, be that magician, pull from these different spaces what's valuable for you. Somebody else might be using 2 tablespoons of salt. Ain't trying to have shit that's salty. You feel me? You feel me, goddamn. But some people might need to be that salty to get through life, so don't judge them. It's like space. Could be a challenge. But nah. Can I get an amen? Because amen. I'm going off right now. I'm bullshit. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, everybody gonna have their own ingredients, their own special recipe. Yes, you can use from that special. Like, that shit do taste pretty good, but I'm just gonna use that aspect. Cause you try to create that shit, it's like, now you mocking that shit. And yes, it's cool, cause you can learn, that mixed with that and then make that. I can incorporate that. Incorporate don't mean copy. I got the COP in it, but don't listen to me, I can't spell. But yeah, you incorporate, like, damn. Oh, so you got a little Indian, herbs and spices in your shit, don't you? Okay. Let me go over there and see what they about, because I just had my Hispanic and my Asian shit going. I talked about that before, but it's like, yeah, you incorporate different spaces. You don't need all of one space, all of that space. That's how you become hoarders. You become bitter. You become just life starts to suck when you try to hold on to one whole experience or one whole memory or one whole space, because the spaces should always be changing. Memories don't ever last, especially in this reality. Like, so it's like you just gotta take what's valuable from those things, those different spaces, different times, different memories, different examples. Don't hold on to the whole experience. You don't have to remember the hurt and pain that experience caused you. You should remember a little bit of it though. Take a little bit, because you don't want to go into that shit again. But remember this shit make you happy and understand how you can build from there. Like, of course you don't want to go into the same exact shit. You want to do it better every time. But people get heartbroken. They don't want to be in another relationship at all. But nigga, you can't say that about a job. Period. You can hate the job, you can hate this job, you can hate that job, but guess what? You gotta get another one. At least so you start providing for yourself. And even then, that business might fail, but you can't soak in that shit, because you gotta create another one. You gotta create another one. Why? Until you be sustainable, goddamn. Until you understand how to make that shit. You just gotta do it different, gotta do better. They're going to be being the bigger person, being God in a sense. That's when people say being the bigger person, it's like being God, being your God self. That's what being the bigger person is. You're taking the higher route, the higher path. What's that? God, all that shit. You see how these different things correlate. You say different shit, but don't understand what they truly mean type shit. When you're the smaller man, means somebody's being bigger than you. I mean, you can look up to them. We look up to God. We look up to Jesus, His Son. We look up to the sun. We look up to the stars. We look up to all that shit. Shout out to D-Lo Pilot, man. I forgot how to say English. It's done said. But yeah, man. This was it. I think that's all. Just wanted to literally finish my part two. What I was saying. Oh, I was supposed to go on to Drake. That's what I ended up my last video on, and I ain't even finished talking about it. Try to see what I thought about. Man, I was talking about marketability. Oh, I was just talking about if he had well-rounded content and adding it, because I mean, you talk about the women shit. And that's one aspect that I resonate with wholeheartedly. I already talked about being gullible today, so I resonate with him. I talked about Kid Cudi talking about only pulling. You have to pull for certain artists. We don't have artists we can love all of them. We only can love certain aspects. It's because their foundations they rely on. Yes, they hella talented. Yes, they resonate with me somehow, but not fully. And that's because many things. We're not supposed to resonate with a lot of people fully, at least. We're only gonna have a few people we fully resonate with, and those are more like our soul groups. Other people might be distant relatives or soul group type shit, whatever. But yeah, I think that would inspire me to say something else, and that's just me. Period. That's why I talked about this before, creating videos. That's why I started creating videos. I didn't love nobody just fully. Of course, Panic, Him, fuck with them. Those are probably the people I resonate with the most. I fuck with Pilot, Flight Bus. I fuck with a few people that I resonate with fully. It still was to a certain extent where I was like, they still not hitting the spot. Need to hit the spot, and that's where I was like, I'm gonna be my well-rounded artist. You don't want the content, the shit, the drive, the passion, all that shit. I'm gonna have everything they got plus more in the sense of my eyes, because I mean, I'm the addition. I listen to everything they do, and I'm the addition, so I'm the plus more goddamn shit. I don't mean to adding to what they already bringing to the that shit before me. Even though I found Flight Bus way after I started going in, but niggas been here before me. And niggas advanced, best believe it. But yeah, I mean, just being that well-rounded, and I talk about wanting to play guitar, talk about wanting to make movies, like being that well-rounded artist, like not just being that Cardi B where I'm just ratchet, or I'm just this, I'm just that, because I know it's gonna resonate with people. But I know if I do that, I'm gonna have to stick to being that, like at least for a while. Like you just can't change up. Like you can change up after a while because niggas don't want to see you be that way for 30 years. You do have to. We talk about change up after a while into different spaces, but for the most part, you still have to use those foundations you used to rely on type shit. Even if it's different, it still has to have that type of shit. Like say if you be like fuck strippers, I ain't with that stripper shit, and I'm Cardi B, your stripper community gonna be like nah because she from that stripper community. I'm sure she got a big community that fuck her, the ability or demographic, whatever you call it. In the same aspect, you can't downplay the certain financial you came from. So you still got to stand on them hoes. Maybe not as firmly, but you still got to stand on them hoes. At least, unless you're willing to lose that. And I mean, if she gets super big, she can say fuck strippers. But at least she will never say that. Or that integrity she got from her foundation type shit. Of course, or she can become woke and explain it even 10 times further than what I'm talking about. I did it for this. I fuck with her for that. But if you get trapped in that shit, just like any other thing, this shit ain't positive. Shit like that. Hey, you ain't got no arguments from me because we all got to rise up from some crazy shit. As long as you ain't getting stuck in that shit and glorifying that shit like it's everything, and other bitches, you make other women want to do that shit. Then that's my only flaw. That's my only problem. Your ratchetness is cool, but you get stuck in that shit. I ain't fucking with that. And Cardi switched up with the baby and shit like that, so whatever. Not that I really care, but whatever. Just examples. But yeah, I had to become that well-rounded artist. And for the most part, the biggest thing with comedians, they lose their integrity, make them wear dress and shit like that, just so they can get a role. Artists, they make them materialism, and that's how they sell out. And it's just like, I'm going to be that person where whatever I do, you gonna know I'm the truth with it. mad about that bullshit. Just like that Chappelle said, I ain't putting on no dress. I ain't putting on no dress. I'll be the best comedian. I'll be the best whatever. But it's gonna be on the foundation that I had. And I feel like, yeah, I might not be. I'm be the most well-rounded artist that I know. Period. That's just the faith I have in myself. That's just how I know myself. Like Lauren Hill mixed with more passion. And I'm being funny because I can look at my passion just as fast as she did. But that's how I look at it. Maybe even more insight than Lauren Hill. Or maybe because I know it's hard to express real like this that deep shit inside. It's hard to express that shit in music. I mean, it's just hard to get it out. Period. When I don't like from in music sound and from everything I listen to, I can connect with, resonate with. But I'm definitely more advanced than the shit she talk about. I know everything she's talking about times 10, but that might be what she putting in her music. That don't mean that's the only thing she know. But in that same aspect, I want to go further than her music. But in that same aspect, give so much credit to her. Like just like when Pac said he wanted to be the person to spark the next person. That's what I want to be. But I want to be my own spark. But they definitely spark me for sure. But yeah, I think that's what makes an artist fully great. Having content, then having integrity. Of course, having just introspection. You need that, of course, but that's just how you start creating. But integrity, marketability. Cause a lot of dudes they be so cold, but they can't like Kawhi Leonard don't get so cold, but he don't have no type of people skills. In that sense of nigga, I did door to door. I got people skills, even though I might not want to. You wouldn't know it. But people skills, just that's a tool I know I can use. Not to get because Kevin Hart, he got people skills, but he too cold with the shit. He too same with Drake. I lose my leg before I lose leg more important. Well, you can sacrifice your physical shit if you feel like it's gonna elevate your spirit. That's what it's. Sacrifice what you gotta sacrifice. If you think you gotta get further ahead and you're gonna need the masses to help you get there, but through that is gonna help. Hey, that's not. I wouldn't suggest it because I think everybody starts from nobody, but hey, whatever. If you want, but what I was saying. What was this talking about? Not Drake. So I said somebody else. Well, that's really it. Integrity. Thought, content. Yeah, man. Like I said, there's many spaces. Great artists. Everybody's great in their own way, but for me, like I said, I have my what I want to be in the sense of an artist. So that's me. But what I vision is great. Don't mean that you might have a whole nother vision. But yeah, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, thanks for sharing. Absolutely Unsure should be coming out tomorrow. Thanks for everybody that's been supporting with that. Views been going up. Crazy. Y'all go support on SoundCloud, iTunes. Absolutely Unsure. You can find it in different shit in his channel, DIFRAN. I'm out.